right, the RNC wowed for a third night in a row, and just like we've been doing all week, we're going to bring you the most memorable moments and talk with the speakers about the response has been. All right, welcome to Spicer & Company. I'm Sean Spicer.
And I'm Lindsay Keith. You know, Sean, there were so many great moments from the convention. Let's just show a few of those highlights from night 3.
I humbly accept your nomination to run and serve as Vice President of the United States.
Heroism is grace, not perpetual outrage.
You will never cancel our heroes.
Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Donald Trump is the most pro-life president that this nation has ever had.
This president stands by Americans with pre-existing conditions for fighting to ensure every child in America has an equal seat at the table.
Be a radical for liberty. And be a radical for our republic, for which I stand.
You know, just like nights 1 and 2, I watch this and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot Facebook. It was one great speaker after another, Lindsay.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I love watching those highlight reels. You know, I loved seeing the powerful women that we saw last night, Laura Trump, Kayleigh McEnany, Kellyanne Conway, all talking about their relationship with Trump and how he has empowered them as strong women to do their job. And then we also, you know, saw Jack Brewer, Vernon Jones, tell their story of, you know, their life as a Black American and speaking to the Black community about what Trump has done for them and why they're voting Republican. I thought those were really powerful moments. Just all around, like you said, you forget some of those great speeches that we saw.
I'll tell you, I went into this week admittedly nervous about the production value, right? And I'll tell you, last night's speech by Vice President Pence, we showed it at the beginning there with the flags. I mean, it literally looked like the best Hollywood team had put that thing together. The Republicans have outdone themselves this week on the production value. It's been absolutely amazing. And to your point, Lindsay, I'll tell you, if you didn't know the parties and someone just showed you that week versus these 3 nights, versus last week, I think you would think that the Republican Party is the party that's got the diversity and the minorities on their side. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. The face of the Republican Party has changed. Like, you can't say this is just a party of the white people. We've seen so many women, so many African Americans, so many Latinos and immigrants from other countries have spoken. We even saw the Chinese man last night as well. And so it is the party of diversity and the party for everyone, the everyday American as well.
Yeah. Well, one of the most powerful speeches of the week, hands down, was Democratic State Representative Vernon Jones. His speech on the first night. Take a listen.
The Democratic Party does not want Black people to leave their mental plantation. We've been forced to be there for decades and generations. But I have news for Joe Biden. We are free. We are free people with free minds.
Well, let's bring in that State Representative Vernon Jones now. Thank you for joining us and welcome back.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much for having me.
Listen, your speech resonated big time with viewers. Since you've done that, what have people been saying to you? That line that you gave, leaving the mental reservation, I mean, that has gone viral. What has been the response that you've gotten?
Well, I can say reasonable and sensible people appreciate the fact that historically Blacks have been taken captive by the Democratic Party, and to see me being able to exercise my freedom of thought, they were happy to hear from me. They were glad I was expressing myself, and many of them feel the same way, but they're afraid of being attacked by the left or Democrats who want to keep them a captive audience. And so for me, it's easy when you stand up for something that you believe in. You know, one courageous man in the crowd is a majority, but I can tell you there's a solid majority out there, Black and white, that feel the same way I feel. But, you know, it's interesting, when the white voters want to support this president, they are called racist. When Blacks want to support this president, they're called sellouts and Uncle Toms. But the Democrats are afraid because for the first time, Sean, in modern times, we have a president, President Trump, has done more to earn the Black vote than any Democrat or Republican presidential candidate has, and I'd say in the past 40 years. Why? Because he believed in what Black people, the contribution they made to this country, He understands. He's had to work with them, and he's hired many of them, and he worked, with many of them. He's had long-time relationships with them, like Herschel Walker. But more importantly, he made a difference when he created jobs and had unemployment for blacks at a record low. Historical black colleges, which I'm a proud graduate of North Carolina Central University, he actually funded those schools at a higher level than the previous administration and wrote it into the law. And then when you look at prison reform and opportunity zone district, this president has been there for not only the black community, but all communities. But specifically, he has established track record of what he's done for African Americans and brown Americans in this country.
Vernon, we saw a big difference last night when Vice President Pence spoke, his vision of America versus Kamala Harris's version of America. Let me play you a little contrast to those two speeches.
We are a nation that is grieving.
A nation that deserves far more gratitude than grievance.
The loss of life, the loss of jobs, the loss of opportunities.
Businesses large and small created more than 7 million good-paying jobs.
The constant chaos.
The boundless potential of every American to live out their dreams in freedom.
The road ahead is not easy.
We made America great again.
Vernon, it really tells the tale of two different futures of America. What was your takeaway?
Well, first of all, when I saw the image of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I thought immediately that wasn't a bouquet. That was more like a cactus and kudzu. One was evasive and the other is succulent. So I thought from the very beginning it was a bad choice, but both of them are bad choices. But the Democratic Party and Democrats, they can't run on a record. They can't run on the Obama years with Biden. This president is different. When I look at Joe Biden has a dream. If you elect me this time, this is what I'll do. I'll change this. I'll help blacks. I'll do this and that. But Donald Trump has a record of accomplishments, solid accomplishments, where he's created more jobs. He's created more small businesses in recent time, giving them opportunity to grow. With the tax cut, it put this economy on steroids prior to the pandemic, where more and more investments were coming into this country. People are feeling better about themselves. And the Democratic Party, they can't win on the record of jobs. They can't win on the record of taking a national stage, international, I should say, and holding other countries accountable. They can't take a record on helping small business or even helping the black community. So they want to run on gloom and doom. This administration is running on sunshine. They were able to accomplish so many different things in every different area you can imagine in terms of moving this country forward. And so what they just talked about, and what the vice president just talked about, you can see this vice president is running on the record. And Kamala Harris, matter of fact, when I think of her and Joe Biden, I don't know who locked up more black men, because Kamala Harris locked them up and Joe Biden locked them down. They should be ashamed. They shouldn't even be on the stage. And as you know, Joe Biden has been a groundhog. He only comes out when he thinks it's safe. So I like the way the President Trump and his administration, the RNC, has put this amazing event on. The spirit here, the feelings, there are more and more of us who feel the same way, that so much has happened in this administration, and we want to see 4 more years. He deserved 4 more years.
Vernon, I'll tell you, I appreciate you coming on, sharing this. Congratulations on an absolutely amazing speech. I'm sure that you are hearing far and wide how well it was received. I can't help but think, though, as I let you go, when we first had you on the show, it was in response to Craig Melvin on MSNBC asking you if you were paid because you were speaking so highly of the president. After this convention, I'm not so sure you'd have the same experience, because there's been such a good job of highlighting the breadth and depths of support that this president has throughout all corners of America. So I thank you for coming back and joining us again, and congratulate you on a fantastic speech.
Thank you so much.
All right. Still to come, we are beginning to see the damage from Hurricane Laura after it made landfall as a Category 4 storm. We're going to speak with Congressman Michael Burgess about what the emergency response right now is in Texas. Plus, the former Republican convention press secretary will weigh in on this year's production. And later, Sister Deirdre Byrne called Trump the most pro-life president in history. We're going to ask her about the response from her RN speech last night. Stay tuned.